got a very clean and simple card to show you. This one's kind of fun too, and you can actually kind of sort of make two cards with this one as you're going along. I'm just going to show you the die we'll be using. This is from our new Perspectives range. This is the Happy die. It's a unique die in that there's no fall away. You have a positive and a negative from your large happy when you cut it. And then there's different little what I call plaques that you can put in the letters, the smaller ones, and then there's a couple of bigger ones that you can use below it too. So it's very versatile. Right, so first thing, I've got a piece of copy paper and I've just sprayed it a little bit with some adhesive spray. And what's really great about cards like this is you can use up your scrap. So I'm just going to go and line up some of these scrap pieces right along the edge and just try and get them butted up next to each other as best you can. The spray glue will give you a little bit of movement if you don't get it down quite right. So I've just picked out some pretty colors in the lavenders and the aquas and the teals here. And I'm going to pop them down. Just get it right up next to each other. And I'm going to do one set of colors, then I'm going to go back and do another set. In fact, that's just over a little bit. Then onto here. So you just want to finish and go along and keep doing this until you finish your entire card. I've got a few more here, right? So I would do probably one more set to finish that off and then trim it, okay? So that will give me a piece that looks like this. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you what I trimmed off the edge was just a little bit like this, and that piece there, I've just created another card using our zigzag border right over the top of that, and you can see the colors come through that. So there's absolutely no waste on this. It's fabulous. Okay, so now I've got it trimmed to size, and I'll give you a quick measurement on what size I've done this in. It is 6 1/8 by 6 1/2, and these are just little 3/4 inch strips. So I'm going to bring in my happy die. And I'm going to just sort of center that towards the bottom of the card, about like that, I think. Bring in some tape, and we'll pop it into place. There we go. In fact, I'm going to use my large cutting plate so I cover the entire piece. And I use copy paper on the bottom just because it makes it a little easier to cut through the different layers. Okay. Gently peel up our removable tape. And I'll show you what I mean about the positive and the negative here. And we're going to be using both pieces, so I'm going to pop these away. Just loosen them all up. There we go, get in there. Oop, a little bit right there. So you can see I've got a really nice happy. And if we take our die off carefully, peel these off gently. We've got a beautiful negative piece as well. Okay, so what I want to do is go ahead and put the negative piece onto my card. And I'm just going to use a little bit of spray glue on the back and get all the pieces in there. Center that between my piercing, and I've just done a white on white piercing. There we go. Get that down. Give that a second. I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, what I'm going to do is take the happy that I've cut and use one of my little plaques on it. So I just use birthday, and let's pop it right onto the H like this. Now I'm going to tape it directly onto my cutting plate because it's a tight fit. And find some tape, and let's just get it centered. I have to lean over just a tiny bit here. That looks fairly even. I'm going to kind of trust that. There we go. And one more piece. Hold that into place. Okay. So I can peel that up and bring this out gently remove that. Remember, you've got all those layers under there. And one more piece. Careful. Oops. There. Okay, and we'll peel this one up. And pop out our little letters. You could obviously use these letters for other things too, but you've got the negative of birthday showing through. And I've got a tiny little piece of white card I'm going to put behind that. So we'll just use a little bit of the fine liner glue and pop a little bit down around that very carefully inside the letters, just to hold it nice and snug. Okay. That should be about the right size, I hope. There we go. Give that a second. Now, I've gone ahead and cut several of the happy already. There's 3 here stacked up, and I'm going to do one more just to give it a bit of dimension. Pop that on with some spray glue. Let's move. There we go. Layer it up, and we're going to raise that up by having all the happies stacked on top of each other, giving that a little bit of dimension. Okay, so now bring this piece back over, make sure everything's stuck down. A little bit more spray glue on the back of these. Pop this in place, and I'm going to use it right into where the happy came out of. Get it as straight as I can there. So that's going to create a really bold shadow. Get that nice and straight. And then we'll take this one and we'll offset it ever so slightly. Let me give it a good spray and trade hands. Let me get that corner I was holding it with. There we go. And offset it so you see your black shadow. There we go. There you go. How cute is that? Very clean and simple, does the trick, but so much fun and lovely way to use up all your extra scraps too. Hope you've enjoyed today's video.